This plot armor narrative around Batman has to stop, specifically around Arkham Batman. After his infamous demise in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, people have been saying his plot armor ran out, or disrespecting my glorious Batgirl by saying shit like POV Batman with no plot armor. It's very apparent people have zero clue who this man is. This notion and these comments make zero sense, and here's why. Oh wait, I was about to forget, before I get into anything, let me do this week's sub shout out. Let me get a drum roll, please. The Gamers. Good looking out, my boy. I really appreciate you, gang, and thanks for showing me some love. But anyways, back to the vid. Now, the Arkham Batman disrespect was always pretty bad, especially after the infinite comparisons to the Insomniac Spider-Man when that game was first released. The limitless video lining these two up was getting out of hand. People always said things like Batman's just a regular human, or he needs plot to win. Now, I hate this argument for two reasons. One being every hero has some form of plot armor. Let's look at the definition of plot armor. Plot armor is used to refer to the phenomenon in fiction whereby the main character is allowed to survive dangerous situations because they are needed for the plot to continue. Due to the fact every hero is literally required for the story to continue, every hero would therefore have plot armor. The second reason I hate these arguments is because Arkham Batman is the absolute opposite of a regular human. But we will get into that more further in the video. Why do we see this narrative only and strictly fly around Batman? Let's take a look at Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. This little lady is literally surviving tsunamis hitting her point blank, negging vicious animal, tribes of whatever these are, full body armored guards died fighting these things, by the way, with not a scratch on her. But I've never seen anyone talk about plot armor when her name comes up in a conversation. Let's look at another huge example, that being Spider-Man. He survived some very devious situations, yet also no one ever seems to know what the word plot armor is when he's talked about. People always counter with, well, he has powers. I mean, not to downplay Spider-Man or anything, but he literally is a dude in a spandex shooting webs. By the Batman haters' logic, Spidey should have been disposed of a long time ago. Fighting Venom? Lizard? Both outrageous superhumans with ridiculous speed and senses being able to match subsonic speeds. Lizard, Rhino, Venom, and Sandman could realistically just plan to catch Spidey off guard and destroy his cheeks. Yet Spidey is walking around unscathed, quipping his ass off, saving the day, but having almost died on multiple occasions earlier in the story. Sounds familiar. Kratos? Nathan Drake? How come Batman is the only one tied around with the word plot armor? Plot armor this, plot armor that. It gets really annoying. Now, just to clarify, I do in fact think Batman has some plot armor. Every hero does, without a doubt. If I made a compilation of every hero having a near-death situation, the video would end when GTA 6 comes out. Only real ones understand the reference. Long story short, the compilation would be infinite. Superheroes almost die, have an anime flashback, then turn up the heat and just do the villain dirty in the most malicious fashion. It's just the way it goes, right? Let's take a look at Arkham Batman, his training and abilities, to see if the haters do have a valid argument or if they're just yapping again. We're going to do a really deep dive in and see if Batman is just a regular human in a bat costume with plot armor like these people say, because if we really want to talk about plot armor, it's actually the other way around. The Suicide Squad needed plot to beat Batman, but y'all will see for yourselves today. So first, let's start off with Bruce's come up and his road to the bat. For the several years from his childhood to his young adult life, Bruce trained extremely extensively to the height of mental and physical perfection. He studied various detective techniques, criminal psychology, invention, computers, disguise, escape bars, tracking, acrobatics, weapons, and marksmanship, to name a few. Bruce went on a journey to learn and master many highly refined forms of Asian martial arts and eventually traveled to North Korea. There, Bruce discovered a secret Korean monastery where he met martial arts master Kirigi in the League of Assassins. At first, nothing more than just a servant and a foreigner, Bruce was eventually allowed to train with his students in the Tokagure Ryu and other shinobi arts similar to the Japanese ninjutsu. Mastering all of them and even managing to defeat Kirigi's best student Shiva, Bruce earned the sensei's respect and was allowed to access the knowledge that he'd been seeking as well as more advanced training. From what we've seen displayed in these Arkham games, we can assume Batman knows a myriad of martial arts, but the one we visibly see being used to the highest degree in the series are boxing, jujitsu, muay thai, judo, bojutsu, taijutsu, shuriken jutsu, inton jutsu, kayaku jutsu, shinobi iri, kali, taekwondo, hapkido, krav maga, jeet kune do, wing chun, karate, parkour, MMA, pro wrestling, grappling, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and savate. And we visibly see he has full mastery over all these techniques via being able to use them very quickly and effectively. So based off combat alone, it's very clear he can hold his ground combat-wise against any foe, no matter who it is, whether that be Shiva, Deathstroke, or even Selina if she would ever try to fight him for any reason. There is no one in this entire verse who would gap Bruce in combat. No one was confirmed to have mastery over as many martial arts as Bruce, exceptions being Raish, Talia, Shiva, and members of the Bat family Bruce has trained. We can infer if it comes down to fighting, Bruce should never have any issues, and say any combatant does match Bruce hand to hand, they would be nowhere near the state Bruce is in physically, so he would just be able to overpower them 10 out of 10 times, and anyone under Bruce's combat level is getting done like this. Now, a lot of people like to argue Bruce fights hours upon hours non-stop and doesn't get tired, but I believe his mastery over all these combat systems and techniques allows him to take out the enemies very quickly and effectively while also minimizing energy lost. Now, due to the gameplay, it gives Batman this inhuman look because he zooms around with free flow combat, but at the end of the day, that system simply is in place to make gamers have fun. A lore accurate Batman would just be one-tapping any combatant who pulls up on him, so it's not like he's actually duking out for hours using all of his energy and strength. It's also taking into account Batman's mastery of stealth, in which he doesn't even have to use all his energy because he can take out all his enemies from the shadows. Realistically, no one should be able to touch him if he really wanted to, so unless they have also some special stealth abilities or extra perceptory senses. Now, I know what people are going to say. Well, Bane easily took Bruce out from the elevator ceiling in Arkham Origins, but to say that, I say Bruce was still very young and had little to no experience in the field of being the Bat. He was still learning and improving and honing his skills as the Batman in stealth, combat, etc. So I won't really hold him to that too much. We all know Bane would never do that to even an Arkham Asylum Bruce like that. Any form of Arkham Bat after Origins is cooking Bane in terms of stealth, and no, not because Bane is some mindless brute after Origins, but because Bruce is just him. So we've already concluded Bruce should destroy anyone in hand-to-hand combat and take out every low-level thug with his stealth, leaving 90% of his energy for bigger battles. In the Arkham series, Bruce befriended Lucius Fox, though he didn't share the same plans with him at first, and used his position to develop or borrow custom-made items that could be useful in his crusade. He assembled his first armored batsuit and utility belt of various materials from the Batcave and Wayne Enterprises, and repurposed a prototype stealth jet to act as the Batwing, a means of transportation and aerial delivery system, with plans to develop the future Batmobile. He also undertook an investigation into a brutal serial killing incident around the time of Halloween in his first year, which Alfred later referred to as a long one. Now, not only has Batman mastery over stealth and combat a huge advantage in every fight Batman enters, but he also has billions of dollars worth of equipment and artillery at his disposal. To name a few, Bruce has batarangs, Batclaws, Batscanner, cryptographic sequencer, disruptor, forensic scanners, freeze blast, remote hacking device, smoke bomb, sonic batarangs, voice synthesizer, and much more. But I wanted to start off with a very broken utility Batman has, that being detective mode. Not only is Batman's stealth already enough to get him through the night unscathed, but he literally has a bat computer implanted in his cowl, allowing him to see enemies through the walls. Now, if that's not broken, I don't know what is. He's literally Superman. I'm not gonna lie, if you are a thug, you need to just quit, because you have absolutely zero chance of making through the night with 10 healthy bones. You, my friend, are beyond cooked. Now let's talk about Bruce's intelligence. Now, Batman is no stranger to ridiculous battle IQ. The strongest argument the haters have is how Batman survived against guys like Clayface, Croc, Grundy, and Bane. Well, let's take a look at an in-character Bruce. One thing everyone forgets about is how careful Batman is. He quickly analyzes every situation and doesn't just jump in headfirst to anything because he knows the extent of his abilities in certain situations. Again, Batman isn't staying alive because of just plot armor. He's also staying alive because of his brains and IQ to move around any situation comfortably. The only ones who could really match Batman and pose somewhat of a threat of intelligence are Riddler, Hugo Strange, and Mr. Freeze. Examples of Batman using skill and intelligence are: Batman uses his environment, stealth, and many of his gadgets to take on Mr. Freeze, someone who is stated to be too powerful to fight straight up according to Batman in Arkham City. We see him make an electromagnet in battle and use stealth to leave Freeze into his traps. While trapped, Batman uses the explosive gel he set up beforehand quickly to defeat Killer Croc, who is also too powerful at this point to fight straight up. Batman also uses his free blast to beat Clayface. It all makes sense now. That's why I hate hearing plot armor this, plot armor that. It gets annoying. Now, another argument people use is, well, he could have got shot by Scarecrow at the end of night, but Jason saved him. Oh, well, statements like this confirm you haven't even played the game. Alfred literally warns Bruce he's being tracked by an unknown vehicle when he was in the van on the way to the asylum at the end of night. Bruce allows himself to be put in a situation of being held at gunpoint with no backup plans because he did in fact believe Jason was going to come around. This man Bruce is the best combatant in his universe by far, has insane stealth feats, and has access to $1 billion worth of artillery his foes only wish they had, and has the ability to utilize all of this to the maximum extent, and is the best detective in the world, has great deductive skills and battle IQ none of his villains come anywhere near, yet he dies to a clown, a boomerang dude, a guy with a gun, and a shark? Yeah, that's what really got me. Then people had the audacity to say Batman's plot armor ran out, as if plot armor is the sole reason Batman was still alive at this point. If we really look at it through an objective scope, it's unfair for criminals and Batman's rogues for him to even be walking around Gotham. Joker realistically has no chance against Batman, Penguin doesn't either, neither does the Riddler, and the list goes on. All Batman has to do is capture these dudes, give them the death penalty in jail, and boom, Gotham will never see crime again. In no way, shape, or form is Batman just a regular human in a costume with plot armor. He's definitely earned his stripes and worked hard for what he has become. The downplay on Batman as a whole is ridiculous. Just take a look at Batman's rogues for 1 second, and him saving the day in 12 hours should make just as much sense as Spider-Man clearing all of his rogues. I just think Batman has garnered so much hate simply because of his popularity, and with that being boosted way more because of the beloved Arkham series, you already know more hate and downplay were yet to come. Now, at first glance, Bruce looks untouchable here, but he did unfortunately die at the hands of Harley Quinzel. This makes zero sense for many reasons. 1. He one-tapped Harley on multiple occasions. 2. Deadshot got one-tap in Arkham City. 3. Boomerang has the lowest possible chance against Batman in any of his rogues. And 4. There is no way in hell Bruce would ever lose to a shark. The same shark would get terrorized by a character Batman already beat, that being Croc. Combine all the skill of this team and it still unfortunately comes nowhere near the Bat. This was all also done by Batman with no fear toxin. If Batman will realistically eviscerate these villains with no fear toxin, what do you think he should be doing with fear toxin, as seen in Suicide Squad Killing Justice League? In the end, ironically, it was plot that actually worked against Bruce instead of for him. Anyways, the plot armor remarks have to stop. Cut it out, guys. Bruce is just him, and the sooner you accept it, the better it will be for you.